Section 1, Ajahn Chah's Forest Bowl. Tonight we are going to explore some timeless Zen stories that have helped people find peace and relaxation for centuries. The room is soft around you now. The hum of quiet, the stillness of the night air. Maybe a faint breeze brushes your curtains, or the gentle click of a clock keeps its steady rhythm. You notice how your breath moves in and out like a lantern glow, calm and steady. All of this belongs to the moment you are in. Remember, inner peace is not something distant. It is here in the breath you are taking right now. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And if you would like, share your location and local time in the comments so we know how many of us are resting together across the world. Now, let us ease into tonight's journey together. The story begins in the Thai forest, where Ajahn Chah lived simply among the trees. He had only a robe, a hut, and a bowl. To many, the bowl was just an object, but to Ajahn Chah it was a teacher. He often lifted it for his monks and said quietly, "For me, this bowl is already broken." At first, the words puzzled them. The bowl was intact, smooth, useful, but Ajahn Chah's smile held no sadness, only peace. He meant that by seeing the bowl as already broken, he could care for it fully now, without clinging to its future. The forest bowl is a mirror of impermanence, or anicca in Buddhist teaching. Nothing we hold remains forever. Not bowls, not seasons, not even our own breath. By remembering this truth, we learn to love without gripping, to live without fear of loss. Ajahn Chah's bowl teaches us that the way to peace is through letting go. Imagine yourself holding such a bowl in your hands. Moonlight slips across its curve. It feels cool, fragile, yet steady. You know it will one day chip, crack, and return to the earth. And because you know this, you feel tenderness in your touch. Tonight, you might think of your own life this way, already broken, already whole, nothing to grasp, everything to appreciate. For your micro-practice now, place your palms together lightly, as though holding a bowl. Breathe in gently. On the exhale, whisper inside yourself, already broken, already whole. Repeat this 3 times. Notice how your shoulders soften, how your mind releases the weight of needing things to last. In Zen, there is a quirky story of a monk who carried a ceramic bowl everywhere. One day the bowl slipped, shattered on stone. The monk froze, dismayed. His master only said, "Now it has fulfilled its teaching." The monk laughed through his tears, understanding at last it was never about keeping the bowl safe, but about learning to release. A Zen master might ask you tonight, when you hold what cannot stay, do you grip tighter or do you love more gently? The omniscient narrator sees you now, your breath has slowed, your chest rises and falls like the quiet forest breeze. You lie as though in Ajahn Chah's monastery, the trees around you whispering with insects and night birds. The bowl rests nearby, its silence carrying a lesson beyond words. In your modern life, perhaps you see bowls everywhere. A phone that may crack, a schedule that may change, relationships that shift, like seasons. Instead of fearing their fragility, you can bow to it. You can hold each moment gently, knowing it shines brighter because it will not last. Ajahn Chah once said, "If you let go a little, you have a little peace. If you let go a lot, you have a lot of peace." As you drift into sleep, Let this truth wrap around you like a blanket. Picture now the bowl filled with clear water, reflecting the moon. A breeze touches it, rippling the reflection. The moon itself is steady above, untouched by the waves. So too is your awareness calm beneath the ripples of thought. Let each exhale tonight be a ripple fading, the water smoothing, the bowl resting. The way out is in. You are already home. Section 2, Evening Kindness. The day is ended, and night draws its curtain across the sky. Lamps dim, rooms soften. The hum of the world grows quiet. In this gentle darkness, the heart begins to notice its own rhythms. For many who have lived long years, evenings carry a certain tenderness, an awareness of time passing, of moments treasured, of bodies a little slower than before. Aging hearts know both fragility and wisdom. Tonight we rest in that wisdom, guided by kindness. In Buddhist teaching, loving kindness metta is the practice of offering goodwill without condition. Ajahn Chah explained it simply. When your heart is kind, it is light. It does not matter if you are young or old. Kindness softens everything. Aging, often feared, becomes gentler when bathed in kindness. Wrinkles are not flaws. They are rivers where compassion has flowed. Imagine now an elderly monk in the forest monastery. His steps are slower than the young novices, but his smile shines more deeply. When he sweeps the leaves, he does not rush. Each movement carries patience, like a blessing spread across the earth. His hut is small, his possessions few, yet in his eyes glows a vast peace. Kindness has ripened him, the way sunlight ripens fruit, slowly, sweetly. Your micro-practice tonight? Place one hand over your heart, feel its steady beat, proof of your life's journey. Whisper inwardly with each breath, may I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I rest. Repeat 3 times, and imagine this blessing flowing outward, touching the people you love, especially those with aging hearts. In Zen, there is a quirky story of 2 monks walking together, one very old, one very young. The young monk asked, "Master, do you fear growing old?" The elder chuckled, tapping his wooden staff on the ground. Every wrinkle is a sutra. Every gray hair is a koan. The young monk frowned, puzzled. The elder only said, when you stop fearing age, you begin to taste eternity. A Zen master might ask you tonight, is aging loss, or is it another form of blossoming? The omniscient narrator sees you lying there, your breath even, your body softening. Perhaps you think of your parents, grandparents, or even yourself as the years pass. Notice how tenderness arises when you picture them. Aging hearts invite gentleness, not harshness. They remind us that life, though impermanent, carries beauty in every stage. Ajahn Chah often reminded his disciples to show respect and warmth toward the older monks. They walk slower, but they carry treasures in their silence, he said. That treasure is not knowledge alone, but the softness that comes from releasing so much over time. Imagine yourself walking through a village at dusk. Lanterns glow in doorways, and elderly neighbors sit outside, chatting softly, their laughter mingling with the evening air. You notice how calm they are, not rushing, not demanding, just present. Their presence is like warm tea on a cool night. You realize kindness has its own fragrance, like blossoms opening after sunset. Take another micro-practice. Inhale slowly and smile. On the exhale, silently send a blessing to someone older in your life. May you be peaceful. Do this 3 times, noticing how your chest grows warmer with each offering. Aging hearts often feel loneliness. Children grow, friends pass, days grow quieter. Yet kindness bridges the gap. When you extend loving kindness, you weave threads into the great net of connection. In Buddhist terms, this is interbeing. You are never separate. Each kindness you offer glimmers in Indra's net, reflected back countless times. Reflective questions arise when you think of your own aging. Do you fear it, or do you see it as ripening? What stories would your wrinkles tell if you let them speak? Could your heart tonight hold kindness for the person you are becoming, as well as for the person you are now? Zen masters often reminded their students that kindness is not weakness. A strong heart is one that can soften. The bamboo bends and does not break. The aged monk smiles and does not cling. Both embody the resilience of loving kindness. The omniscient narrator observes your breath slowing further, shoulders sinking. Evening kindness is spreading through you like tea steam drifting into the night. You are lighter now, held by tenderness. Ajahn Chah said, "Make your heart like the earth. No matter what is thrown on it, it still supports." Aging hearts embody this. They have carried joys and sorrows, yet still they hold. Tonight, let your heart be like that spacious, kind, unwavering. A final image remains. Night deepens, and a grandmother sits by the window, gazing at the stars. She whispers a prayer not for herself, but for her children, for her grandchildren, for the world. That prayer drifts into the sky, into your breath, into the stillness surrounding you now. Her kindness, your kindness, are not separate. They shine together, guiding you toward rest. Section 3, The Empty Boat. The river drifts quietly beneath the moon, its current silver and smooth, carrying leaves and shadows downstream. Along the bank, reeds bow gently, as if listening. Then, from the distance, a boat appears small, wooden, drifting closer. It glides without lantern, without rower, and when it bumps softly against another vessel, there is no anger, no blame, for the boat is empty. This is the ancient parable, the empty boat, as a teacher of non-self and of peace. Ajahn Chah loved to remind his disciples that much of their suffering came from taking things personally. If someone bumps you with words or actions, he would say, "Look closely. Is it truly about you, or is it an empty boat drifting on the river of conditions?" His smile made the lesson lighter. When you see that there is no captain behind many collisions, you release the need to react with anger. Tonight, imagine yourself sitting on the riverbank. A lantern rests beside you, its glow dancing on the water. You watch the empty boat float nearer, its hull creaking gently. It touches the shore, then drifts again. Your body softens as you see its truth. Not everything that touches you is meant to harm you. Many things in life are simply boats without rowers, moving with the current of causes and conditions. Your micro-practice here, take 3 slow breaths. On each inhale, picture the boat approaching. On each exhale, imagine your tension dissolving into the river. Whisper softly inside, empty, at peace. With each repetition, notice how your body unclenches, how anger loosens its grip. The Buddhist teaching here is anatta, non-self. The Buddha explained that what we call self is a collection of processes, thoughts, feelings, perceptions, all changing like water. To cling to them as me or mine brings suffering. To see their emptiness brings freedom. Ajahn Chah said, "You are not the owner of the mind. You are only the knower." Like the boat, your thoughts drift, bumping into each other, but no solid captain steers them. A quirky Zen tale tells of a monk who grew furious whenever another monk disturbed his meditation. His master told him to sit by the river. Days passed, and one afternoon a boat bumped against him. He leapt up to scold the rower, only to find the boat was empty. Suddenly, his anger dissolved into laughter. The master appeared, smiling. "Every boat that bumps you is empty, even the ones with people inside." A Zen master might ask you tonight, when anger rises, can you see the boat is empty? As you rest, perhaps memories come, words from someone today, frustration still echoing. Let them drift into the boat. Watch as it floats down the river, away from you. Notice how the heart lightens when you stop clinging to the story of being wrong. Ajahn Chah often laughed at the seriousness of anger. "You suffered twice," he said. "Once from the event, once from holding it. The empty boat helps us suffer once less. When you see emptiness, you release the second wound." Take another micro-practice. As you exhale, say silently, "Let it pass." Repeat 3 times, watching the boats fade into the horizon. With each exhale, your jaw relaxes, your shoulders sink deeper into the bed. Reflective questions drift in like ripples. When you feel hurt, do you rush to blame the rower? What changes if you see that most hurts are simply boats drifting, pushed by currents you cannot see? What if your own harsh inner critic is only another empty boat, bumping clumsily against your heart? The omniscient narrator sees you now, body heavy, eyes softening. Your breath has slowed, your mind clearer. The river flows quietly within you, carrying empty boats away. You no longer need to row against them. You only watch, peaceful, as they pass. Zen monks sometimes practice by imagining every insult as a shout from the forest. No one there to harm them, just echoes carried by wind. Tonight, you can do the same. Whatever arises, let it be wind, let it be water, let it be empty. Ajahn Chah's words return softly. If you let go, the mind is already light. If you cling, even one word can sink you. The boat floats on, reminding you to release. A final image. The river wide beneath the stars, boats drifting silently downstream. Some are empty, some are full, yet all eventually fade into the mist. You sit quietly on the bank, lantern dimming, knowing peace is not in controlling the river, but in letting the boats drift by. The way out is in Section 4, Bamboo in Moonlight. The night forest is alive, though it speaks in whispers rather than shouts. The moonlight falls silver and cool, threading its way between tall stalks of bamboo. Each stalk sways gently, bending under the touch of the breeze, bowing but never breaking. When the wind grows stronger, the bamboo leans lower, creaks softly, then returns upright once the gust has passed. In this movement, so fluid and effortless, lies a lesson that has guided countless practitioners of Zen. Resilience is not resistance, but flexibility. Ajahn Chah often brought his students into the forest to learn directly from nature. "Look at the bamboo," he said, pointing to a grove shimmering in the wind. "It is strong because it bends. If you refuse to bend, you break. If you yield a little, you live long. The monks listened, but many did not understand until the storms came. When the rains lashed and winds howled, it was the rigid trees that cracked, while the bamboo bowed gracefully, survived, and sang afterward in the dripping quiet. Imagine yourself lying among those groves tonight, the ground soft with fallen leaves. The moonlight paints silver stripes across the forest floor. Above you, the bamboo sways, its leaves whispering like a lullaby. You listen to their voice, a voice that says, "Yield, and you will endure." Empty yourself, and you will stand tall. Your micro-practice: inhale slowly, picturing yourself tall and rooted like bamboo. Exhale, imagine bending gently with the wind of your own breath. Repeat 3 times, whispering inwardly, "I bend, I do not break." Notice how your body eases, how stubbornness softens into flexibility. The Buddhist teaching of the middle way reveals itself in bamboo's dance. Neither too rigid nor too limp, the stalk holds its ground, yet yields with grace. Life, too, requires such balance. To cling tightly brings pain. To collapse entirely brings despair. The middle way invites us to stand upright but pliant, to live with strength that is not brittle but fluid. A quirky Zen story tells of a master who was asked by his student, "What is wisdom?" The master pointed to the bamboo swaying in the courtyard and replied, "Listen." The student strained his ears, but only heard the rustle of leaves. "I do not understand," he confessed. The master smiled. "When the wind comes, it bends. When the wind leaves, it stands. What more is there to understand?" A Zen master might ask you tonight, when the wind of change touches you, will you snap or will you sway? In your bed, perhaps your body carries the stiffness of the day. Tension in the shoulders, jaw set, breath shallow. Notice this as your own bamboo, needing to sway. Let your shoulders drop with your exhale. Let your breath become the wind that moves you gently. Flexibility begins in small moments, like this one. Ajahn Chah said often, "If you are supple in body and mind, then suffering cannot cling to you." He meant that suffering finds no grip in what bends, but it clings fiercely to what is stiff. Tonight, you practice softness not as weakness but as strength. Take another micro-practice. Smile faintly as you breathe in. On the exhale, imagine the bamboo whispering back your smile. Repeat 3 times, letting your jaw release and your chest feel lighter. Reflective questions arise like wind. When hardship comes, do you brace rigidly, or do you bow and wait for the gust to pass? What if your strength tonight lay not in resistance, but in graceful yielding? What if the heart, when it bends, becomes unbreakable? The omniscient narrator sees you resting deeper now, your breath swaying in rhythm with the forest. Your body feels lighter, as though moonlight itself has entered your skin. Each exhale is another bow of bamboo, each inhale another return to uprightness. In Zen monasteries, bamboo groves were cherished places of meditation. Monks listened to the rustle of leaves as if they were scriptures. The sound reminded them of impermanence, of balance, of the invisible wind that moves all things. Tonight, you too are in that grove, listening to bamboo scriptures under a silver moon. Ajahn Chah would laugh, tapping his monks on the shoulder when they seemed too rigid in their practice. "Don't be like hard wood," he would say. "Be bamboo." His laughter itself was wind, shaking them loose, reminding them not to cling even to the idea of meditation. Another micro-practice, count 3 exhales slowly, each one accompanied by the image of a breeze moving through your body. With each breath, feel yourself swaying softly, unafraid. Let the breeze carry away what no longer serves you. A final image lingers, dawn arriving in the bamboo grove. The moon fades, but the stalks stand fresh, leaves dripping with dew. The wind has passed, but the bamboo remains, rooted and alive. So too with you. Whatever winds of thought or worry have blown tonight, you remain steady, flexible, whole. Section 5. The Distant Temple Bell. Across the quiet valley, beneath a stretch of stars, the sound of a bell begins to rise. It starts low, like a vibration felt more than heard, and then it blooms into the air, rolling over trees and rivers, brushing rooftops and mountainsides. Each strike lingers, fading slowly into silence, leaving behind a stillness wider than before. The temple bell has long been a teacher in Buddhist practice, its voice reminding monks, villagers, and wanderers alike to pause, to breathe, to return to themselves. Ajahn Chah often taught that listening could be as powerful as sitting still in meditation. When the bell sounds, he said, do not rush forward or backward. Let it strike your heart and bring you here. In his monasteries, bells marked the rhythm of life, time to wake, to chant, to eat, to rest. But beyond routine, they carried a deeper meaning, the call back to presence. Imagine yourself tonight, lying in your bed, hearing the distant echo of such a bell. Even if no bell rings outside your window, imagine its voice traveling through the night, reaching you softly. Its sound touches your chest, vibrates gently in your bones, and then fades. In that fading lies the teaching everything arises, resounds, and disappears. Your micro-practice, take 3 slow breaths. On each inhale, imagine the bell being struck. On each exhale, imagine its sound spreading out in widening circles. Whisper inside, here, now, enough. Let the resonance guide you deeper into calm. The Buddhist teaching here is impermanence. Just as the bell's sound cannot last, neither can any pain, thought, or joy. Everything follows the same arc, appearing, shining briefly, then dissolving. Ajahn Chah said, listen carefully. The bell teaches you that nothing can cling, not even its own voice. A quirky Zen story tells of a young monk tasked with ringing the temple bell. He struck it quickly, carelessly, until the master stopped him. Do not hit the bell, the master said. Invite it. From that day forward, the monk bowed before each strike, lifted the mallet gently, and let the bell sing. Its sound changed deeper, clearer, more alive. A Zen master might ask you tonight, do you strike life, or do you invite it? The omniscient narrator sees you resting now, perhaps noticing the small sounds around you, the hum of a fan, the settling of the house, the breath in your chest. Each of these can be bells of mindfulness if you let them. Instead of resisting sound, let it invite you back. Ajahn Chah explained that even unpleasant noises can be teachers. He laughed once, saying, when the dogs bark, I smile. They remind me I am awake. In the same way, your environment tonight, distant traffic, a creak of wood, can be received as temple bells. Each one invites you to breathe. Take another micro-practice. Close your eyes and listen. Choose one sound around you, however faint. As you hear it, breathe in deeply. On the exhale, smile gently. Repeat 3 times. Notice how the sound no longer disturbs but soothes, like a bell calling you back. Reflective questions arise like echoes. When the bell fades, what remains? Is it silence, or is it your own listening? What if the bell's true gift is not its sound, but the space it reveals? In Zen monasteries, bells mark transitions, carrying people from one activity to another. Tonight, the bell carries you from wakefulness toward rest. It does not demand. It simply invites. You are free to follow. Imagine a temple on a hillside, its bell tower silhouetted against the stars. A monk lifts the mallet and strikes. The sound rolls across valleys, reaching not only ears but hearts. It travels to your bedside now, weaving through the night to settle into your breath. With each resonance you feel lighter, as though the bell itself were carrying away your burdens. Ajahn Chah said, "When you hear the bell, do not hear with your ears alone. Hear with your heart." Tonight your heart listens. It beats in rhythm with the fading sound, steady, calm. A final image lingers. The last strike fades into vast silence. That silence is not empty. It is full of peace, wide as the sky. You rest in it now, carried by the bell's teaching. There is nothing more to do. The way out is in Section 6, Hungry Ghosts at Rest. In the deep folds of Buddhist imagination, there are beings called hungry ghosts, figures with tiny throats, swollen bellies, and eyes always searching. They wander endlessly, longing to eat or drink, but no matter what they grasp, it slips away. Their hunger is never satisfied. Though they sound like myths, they are mirrors of the restless cravings in our own hearts. Every time we feel we are not enough, every time we keep reaching for more, while peace slips further away, the hungry ghost rises within us. Ajahn Chah spoke gently about craving, calling it tanha, or thirst. He reminded his monks that craving is not an enemy, but a teacher. When you feel desire, notice it, he said. Do not chase it, do not hate it. Just see it. When you see it clearly, it fades like smoke. The hungry ghost, when looked at with compassion, no longer haunts us. It begins to rest. Tonight, as you lie here, perhaps small cravings stir within you, the urge to check one more message, the wish for a different day, the longing for something unfinished. These are hungry ghosts whispering at the edge of your awareness. Do not push them away. Do not obey them either. Instead, invite them to sit beside you, offering kindness. Whisper softly, "Hello, dear craving." You may rest here. Your micro-practice, place one hand over your chest. Feel the warmth of your palm, the steady beat beneath. Inhale deeply. On the exhale, imagine offering that breath as nourishment to your craving. Repeat 3 times, saying inwardly, "May you rest." Notice how the craving loosens, how your body feels calmer. In Buddhist teaching, craving is one of the roots of suffering, yet it also shows us the path to release. Just as thirst reveals the need for water, craving reveals the possibility of freedom. Ajahn Chah said, "You think desire will be satisfied when you get what you want, but real satisfaction comes when desire is understood and let go." A quirky Zen story tells of a monk plagued by dreams of hungry ghosts. Terrified, he went to his master. The master said simply, "Next time they appear, pour them tea." That night, the monk dreamt again of ghosts with gaping mouths. This time, instead of fleeing, he offered them a teacup. They sipped, their faces softened, and they vanished peacefully. The teaching was clear. Kindness feeds what fear cannot. A Zen master might ask you tonight, when your cravings arrive, will you fear them, or will you offer them tea? Imagine now a forest clearing under moonlight. Hungry ghosts gather, their faces weary. A monk sits among them, chanting softly, his bowl full of compassion rather than food. One by one, the ghosts sit, listening. Their bellies ease, their throats open, and their restless wandering pauses. You too can create this clearing in your own heart. Take another micro-practice, exhale slowly, and imagine light spilling from your chest into the night. First, exhale one ghost rests. Second, exhale more ghosts soften. Third, exhale the whole clearing glows with peace. Notice how your own chest feels lighter, as if you too have been fed. Ajahn Chah reminded his students that we all carry hungry ghosts inside longings for praise, for comfort, for permanence. Do not fight them, he said. Smile at them. When you smile, they lose their teeth. The smile is the gentlest exorcism. Reflective questions drift in. What cravings visit you most often? Are they for things, for approval, for certainty? What would happen if you welcomed them instead of struggling against them? Could they rest if you stopped pushing and pulling? The omniscient narrator observes your breath slowing, your shoulders sinking deeper into the bed. The ghosts in your chest are quieter now, no longer wailing. They are seated gently, like children lulled to sleep by kindness. In Zen monasteries, monks often left small bowls of food in the woods, offerings for unseen beings. Whether ghosts ate them or not, the act was one of generosity. Tonight, your offering is your breath, your acceptance. Nothing more is needed. Another micro-practice before sleep deepens. Smile faintly and say inwardly, "Enough for tonight." 3 times, with 3 slow breaths. Each time you repeat it, feel how even longing itself grows tired, ready to rest. Ajahn Chah laughed once, saying, "Hungry ghosts are only scary when you run. If you turn and bow, they bow too." And so tonight, you bow gently to your own longing, honoring it, without letting it rule you. A final image settles in, a moonlit field where once restless ghosts now lie sleeping, their bellies eased, their eyes closed. Around them, the forest hums softly, and above them, the stars glow. You lie beside them, at peace, the hunger gone, the night wide and calm. Section 7. The Mirror Mind. The moonlight spills across a still pond, so clear that it seems like glass. When the night breeze stirs, ripples spread, and the reflection shimmers, yet the moon itself remains untouched. This is the teaching of the mirror mind, awareness that reflects everything without clinging, without judgment, without stain. In Zen, the mind is often compared to a mirror capable of reflecting whatever appears, yet not bound to hold it. Ajahn Chah explained it simply, the mind is like a mirror. It reflects happiness, sadness, anger, fear, but the mirror is not changed by what it reflects. His words invited students to rest in awareness itself, rather than chase after every image. Just as a mirror does not grab the face it shows, the mind need not cling to every thought or feeling. Tonight, imagine yourself holding a small round mirror under the stars. One moment it reflects the moon, the next moment it reflects clouds, the next your own face. But the mirror itself is calm, silent, open. Your awareness, too, is like this mirror. Thoughts pass, feelings pass, dreams and memories flicker by, but awareness remains steady beneath them. Your micro-practice. Close your eyes. On the inhale, imagine your mind as a clear mirror. On the exhale, imagine one thought appearing on its surface, then dissolving. Repeat this 3 times, whispering softly inside. Reflected, not held. Notice how the grip of your thoughts loosens. The Buddhist teaching here is mindfulness, sati, the gentle noticing of what arises without grasping or pushing away. When you are mindful, you see clearly, yet you do not add chains of reaction. The mirror reflects, then clears itself. Ajahn Chah once said, "When you know clearly, you need not hold. Knowing is enough." A quirky Zen koan tells of a monk asking his master, "How should I practice when the mind is like a dirty mirror?" The master replied, "Bring me that mirror, and I will polish it." The monk hesitated. "But the mirror is only my mind." The master struck the floor with his staff, "Then see it as already clear." A Zen master might ask you tonight, is the mirror truly stained, or do you only dream of dust? As you lie in the quiet room, your own thoughts may swirl what happened today, what waits tomorrow. Watch them as reflections in the mirror mind. Each one appears, shines briefly, then fades. You need not polish or chase them. You only notice, resting as the mirror itself. Ajahn Chah told his disciples, if you try to stop thoughts, that is another thought. Just know them. Let them be like clouds drifting past the sky. In the same way, your awareness tonight is wide as the sky, the thoughts only passing weather. Take another micro-practice. As you exhale, say silently, I am the mirror, not the reflection. Repeat 3 times. Feel how your breath clears space, how the reflections grow lighter, less sticky. Reflective questions arise like quiet ripples. When sadness appears, do you mistake it for your whole self? What if it is only a reflection? When joy appears, do you grasp it tightly? What if it too is only a reflection? Could you let all states pass, while remaining steady as the mirror? In Zen practice, some monks sat facing a wall, gazing as though at a vast mirror. They watched their minds reveal images, memories, fears, dreams. At first they struggled, wanting to chase or erase, but over time they realized the wall was already blank. The mirror of awareness needed no polishing. It was open from the start. Ajahn Chah smiled once at a disciple who complained of endless thoughts. He held up a glass of water. If you stir, the water is cloudy. If you leave it alone, it clears. The disciple laughed, realizing the mind was the same. Another micro-practice. Place a faint smile on your lips. As you inhale, on the exhale, imagine the mirror growing larger, wide as the room, then wide as the sky. Each thought that comes is just a bird flying across its surface, leaving no trace. The omniscient narrator sees you resting more deeply now, your body heavy, your breath long. The mirror of awareness shines silently within you, reflecting without clinging. The night hums softly, the fan, the wind, the silence between heartbeats, all mirrored in your calm. A final image lingers, the pond beneath the moon, still and open. Reflections appear, shimmer, and vanish, but the water remains. So too your awareness, clear, vast, unshaken. You rest now not as the reflections, but as the mirror itself. The way out is in Section 8, Lantern and Fog. The night is quiet, yet mist drifts across the ground, curling like soft breath over the fields. A single lantern glows ahead, its light dimmed by the fog. You walk slowly toward it, each step cushioned, each sound muffled. The path is unclear, but the lantern does not need to burn brightly. It only needs to glow enough for the next step. This is the way of walking meditation, the Zen practice of moving slowly, mindfully, even when the path seems uncertain. Ajahn Chah often guided his monks in simple walking meditation. He told them, "When you walk, do not walk to get somewhere. Walk to be here." In the thick of daily life, people rush, chasing destinations, always leaning forward. But in Zen, even one step can contain the whole journey. The lantern in fog is a symbol of this. You do not need the full map. You only need enough clarity for now. Tonight, imagine yourself in that fog, lantern swinging gently in your hand. Each step is slow, deliberate, silent. Your breath rises and falls with the rhythm of your steps. Though the fog surrounds you, you feel safe because the lantern glows and the earth supports your feet. Your micro-practice: close your eyes and imagine taking 10 steps in your mind. With each inhale, say silently lifting. With each exhale, say placing. Imagine your foot touching soft earth. After 10 imagined steps, pause, smile faintly, and rest in the stillness. The Buddhist teaching here is mindfulness of the present. In fog, the future is hidden. In life, too, the future is uncertain. But just as the lantern lights the next step, mindfulness lights the present moment. Ajahn Chah reminded his students, when you are mindful of one step, you are mindful of the whole path. A quirky Zen anecdote tells of a monk lost in a mountain fog. He panicked until he noticed the faint glow of his lantern. "It is not enough to see the end of the path," he said later, "but it is enough to see where my foot will land." A Zen master might ask you tonight, do you need to see the whole way, or is one step enough? As you lie in bed, perhaps fog clouds your mind. Thoughts of tomorrow, worries unfinished, plans unsettled. Notice them as mist drifting through your awareness. You cannot clear the whole valley, but you can light the next step, your breath. Inhale, exhale. That is your lantern. Ajahn Chah explained, "We suffer because we want certainty, but life is foggy. Be the lantern." He encouraged his disciples to trust the practice, to rest in the present moment, even when the mind demanded clarity about the future. Take another micro-practice. Inhale deeply, imagining the lantern glowing brighter in your chest. Exhale slowly, letting the fog around you soften but not vanish. Repeat 3 times, noticing that peace comes not from banishing the fog, but from holding the lantern. Reflective questions arise like silhouettes in mist. When life feels uncertain, do you freeze or do you step gently forward? What if the lantern of your awareness is always enough, even if you cannot see far? What if peace is not in knowing the whole path, but in resting with one step at a time? In Zen monasteries, monks sometimes practiced walking meditation at night, carrying lanterns. The fog and darkness heightened their awareness. Each step a small miracle, each breath a reminder of presence. You, too, can carry such a lantern, even lying still. Your breath is your light, your body, your path. Ajahn Chah laughed once when his monks worried about the future of their monastery. "Why worry about tomorrow?" he asked. "Today we have rice, today we have water, today we have peace. Tomorrow is fog. We will see it when we walk into it." His words are lanterns that still glow. Another micro-practice. Count 3 slow breaths. With each exhale, imagine placing one gentle step on soft earth. After the third, imagine pausing, lantern glowing, fog all around, and your heart calm. The omniscient narrator sees you sinking deeper now, your body heavy, your breath even. Around you is fog, but within you is light. The lantern of awareness glows quietly, guiding you towards sleep. You do not need to know when dreams will come or how long rest will last. You only need this step, this breath. A final image lingers, the fog thickens, yet the lantern still shines. You walk steadily, calmly, each step carrying you home. The way out is in Section 9, Han Shan's Cold Mountain Poems. The wind brushes over the slopes of Cold Mountain, carrying with it a crisp silence broken only by the rustle of pine needles. This is where the hermit poet Han Shan lived, far from worldly affairs, scribbling verses on rocks, cave walls, and scraps of bark. His words, sometimes playful, sometimes piercing, spoke of freedom found not in wealth or status, but in laughter, solitude, and the wide open sky. Imagine him there, robes worn thin, hair wild, face bright with mischief. He laughs at officials rushing for power, mocks scholars chasing fame, and then turns his gaze to the moon, whispering verses about dew, frost, and empty paths. Cold Mountain is both a place and a metaphor, the wilderness where the mind lets go of its pretenses, where only simplicity remains. Ajahn Chah admired such simplicity. He often reminded his monks, "You do not need many things to be happy. The less you carry, the lighter your walk." Han Shan embodied this teaching with his ragged clothes and light spirit. His poems were his bowls, his laughter, his hut. He carried little, but lived vast. Your micro-practice tonight. Smile softly as you inhale. As you exhale, whisper inwardly, light as Han Shan. Repeat 3 times. Feel the body loosen, the mind grow playful. Notice how even seriousness begins to laugh. The Buddhist teaching here is non-clinging. Han Shan's poems remind us that clinging to status or possessions is like holding smoke. The tighter you grip, the less remains. Freedom is in letting the smoke drift. Ajahn Chah said, "The more you cling, the more you suffer." Letting go is the highest wealth. A quirky Zen story tells of Han Shan visiting a monastery, laughing wildly. The monks scolded him for his ragged clothes and unruly manners. He scribbled a poem on the wall. "Some laugh at me for being crazy. I laugh at them for being sane." Then he vanished back into the hills. A Zen master might ask you tonight, do you cling to appearing wise, or can you laugh at yourself? Imagine yourself now, walking barefoot on Cold Mountain, air crisp, stars blazing. You stumble on a rock and laugh instead of cursing. You notice frost sparkling like jewels on the grass, a treasure more real than gold. You feel the joy Han Shan must have felt freedom, in the simple, laughter in the unexpected. Ajahn Chah often chuckled at his students. Seriousness. Why are you so tense about enlightenment? He teased. Relax. If you let go of the idea, you may already be there. His humor, like Hanshan's, was a medicine against striving. Take another micro-practice. Inhale, and think of one small thing that made you smile today. Exhale, letting that smile widen inward. Repeat 3 times, noticing how joy can be simple, light, unforced. Reflective questions rise like mountain echoes. Do you chase achievements that leave you restless? What would happen if you measured your life, not by success, but by laughter? Could simplicity be your true abundance? Hanshan's verses remain centuries later because they were carved not in paper but in spirit. One poem reads, "Men ask the way to Cold Mountain. Cold Mountain, there is no road. If you reach the cliff, you will find the path." Tonight, his words guide you not to a place on a map, but to a state of ease. The omniscient narrator sees you now, sinking deeper, your body warm beneath the blanket, your breath steady as the mountain air. Thoughts may still appear, but they feel lighter, almost playful, like Hanshan's laughter echoing in the valley. Ajahn Chah once lifted an empty glass and said, "Already broken." Hanshan lifted his ragged sleeve and laughed, "Already free." Both pointed to the same truth. Freedom comes not from adding more, but from letting go. Another micro-practice. Exhale slowly, imagining your worries as scribbles on a cave wall. Watch as time erases them, leaving only smooth stone. Repeat 3 times, feeling lighter each time. A final image lingers. Hanshan sitting on a boulder, laughing at the moon, scribbling with a stick in the dirt. The wind scatters his words, but the laughter remains. You hear it now, soft and kind, carrying you towards sleep. Cold Mountain is not far. It is here, in the quiet joy of letting go. Section 10. The Grass Hut. On the edge of a quiet valley, tucked among tall pines and whispering streams, stands a humble grass hut. Its roof is made of straw, its walls patched with mud, and its floor no more than the bare earth. Yet inside, the air feels vast, as if the whole sky has been invited in. This hut belongs to Shitu, the Zen master who taught that simplicity is not poverty, but freedom. In his verses he wrote, "I built a grass hut where nothing is of value. After eating, I relax and enjoy a nap." The grass hut is a symbol of contentment. To live in such simplicity is to step out of endless grasping, to find peace in what is already here. Ajahn Chah, too, lived in small huts built in the Thai forest. He smiled at the novices, who longed for larger shelters. "If rain does not fall inside, it is good enough," he said. His teaching was clear. Contentment arises not from what we add, but from what we stop demanding. Imagine yourself tonight, resting inside such a hut. The straw roof glows faintly in the moonlight. Crickets sing outside, a gentle chorus. The air smells of earth and wood smoke, grounding you in the present. You feel the walls protecting you, yet they do not confine you. The hut is small, but inside it, your heart feels wide. Your micro-practice. Close your eyes and picture your room as a grass hut. With each inhale, see its simplicity. With each exhale, whisper inwardly, "Good enough." Repeat 3 times. Notice how your body releases the pressure to improve, to achieve, to chase. The Buddhist teaching here is santuti, contentment. To be content does not mean to give up growth, but to release the restless hunger that says not enough. Ajahn Chah said, "If you want a palace, you suffer. If you want little, even a hut is spacious." A quirky Zen story tells of a monk who bragged about his hut. "It is stronger than all others," he said. Shitu smiled and asked, "When the wind blows, does your hut laugh or cry?" The monk was silent. Shitu's hut laughed because it did not resist the wind. A Zen master might ask you tonight, does your shelter protect you from life, or does it invite you to meet it? As you lie in bed, perhaps your room holds many things: devices, clothes, books. Imagine them fading until only what you truly need remains: warmth, shelter, breath. Notice how much space opens when you stop clinging to excess. Ajahn Chah often reminded his disciples, "We think we need so much, but when we die, we take nothing." This reminder is not meant to scare, but to free. When you know you cannot carry possessions forever, you cherish them gently now, without obsession. Take another micro-practice. Inhale deeply and smile faintly. On the exhale, say silently, "This is enough." Repeat 3 times. With each repetition, your chest feels lighter, your breath calmer. Reflective questions rise like smoke from a fire. What huts have you built in your life? Homes, careers, identities. Do they shelter you, or do they weigh on you? What would it mean to live in a hut of the heart, simple and open? Zen monks often use the grass hut as an image of enlightenment. Not grand temples, but humble huts, ordinary, quiet, filled with everyday peace. Tonight, your own body can be such a hut. Breath enters and leaves, protecting and sustaining you. Inside, awareness rests quietly, needing nothing more. Ajahn Chah laughed once when someone asked if enlightenment meant riches. "My riches are here," he said, pointing to his hut. "The trees are my walls, the sky is my roof. What more could I need?" Another micro-practice. Exhale slowly, imagining your worries piled outside the hut. With each breath, step inside and close the door gently. Inside, there is only stillness, only peace. Repeat 3 times, settling deeper with each breath. The omniscient narrator sees you resting now. Body, heavy as straw, mind light as smoke. Your room feels simpler, as though clutter has faded. You are in the grass hut, and it is enough. A final image lingers. Morning light slipping through the cracks of the hut, illuminating dust motes that dance like tiny stars. You awaken not to wealth, but to freedom, not to abundance of things, but to abundance of peace. The grass hut stands, humble yet unshakable, because it shelters not possessions, but contentment. Tonight, you rest in that same shelter, safe, simple, whole. Section 11, River Current and Still Stones. The night is quiet, and somewhere a river flows its waters moving endlessly, reflecting moonlight in silver streaks. The current carries leaves, twigs, and drifting petals downstream, never pausing, never repeating itself. Yet in the midst of this flowing world, still stones rest beneath the surface. They do not resist the current, nor do they chase it. They remain steady while the river glides above and around them. Together, they form a perfect image of balance, flowing with change while grounded in stability. Ajahn Chah often spoke of this balance. Be like the river, he said, but also be like the stone. Flow when it is time to flow. Rest when it is time to rest. His words remind us that the practice is not about clinging to stillness or chasing movement, but about learning when to yield and when to stand firm. Imagine yourself tonight, standing at the edge of such a river. The sound of rushing water soothes you, a lullaby woven by nature. Beneath the surface, you see stones, unmoved, silent, ancient. You realize that both are needed: the current to carry life forward, and the stones to anchor it. Your micro-practice: inhale slowly, picturing the current rushing in. Exhale, picturing yourself as a stone resting deep beneath the water. Repeat 3 times, whispering inwardly, flow and rest. Notice how your breath carries movement and stillness together. The Buddhist teaching here is the middle way. Too much clinging to motion leads to exhaustion. Too much attachment to stillness leads to stagnation. The middle way invites us to live between extremes, grounded yet flexible, rooted yet flowing. Ajahn Chah once said, meditation is not forcing stillness, nor chasing movement. It is knowing both and resting in awareness. A quirky Zen parable tells of 2 monks debating. One praised the river's ceaseless flow, while the other admired the stone's endurance. Their master listened, then placed a stone in the river. "Which one is wrong?" he asked. The monks fell silent, realizing that both were true. A Zen master might ask you tonight, are you flowing too much, or are you holding too tightly? As you lie in bed, perhaps your life feels like a current day's rushing, plans carrying you forward. Or perhaps it feels like stone-heavy, unmoving. Tonight, you can invite both qualities into your rest. Let the breath be your river. Let the body be your stone. Ajahn Chah explained that suffering often arises when we resist flow or fear stillness. We cling to one and reject the other, but peace is found when we allow both to coexist, like river and stone sharing the same space. Take another micro-practice. As you inhale, imagine water flowing across your body, washing tension away. As you exhale, imagine becoming heavy and steady, like a stone rooted in the riverbed. Repeat 3 times, noticing how the 2 states merge into calm. Reflective questions arise like ripples. When life rushes, can you find a stone inside you to steady yourself? When life feels stuck, can you remember the river within you, always moving? Could the secret be not choosing one but honoring both? In Zen monasteries, rivers were often places of meditation. Monks sat on the banks, listening to currents and feeling their own thoughts drift like leaves. Sometimes they placed stones in their laps, a tactile reminder to stay grounded while letting the mind flow freely. You too can practice this balance tonight, listening to the river of breath while resting in the stone of your body. Ajahn Chah laughed once when a monk complained that his mind was too restless. "Good," he said. "That means it is alive. Now let it flow, but do not chase it." To another who complained his mind was too dull, he said, "Good, that means it is steady. Now let it rest, but do not sink." His humor pointed to the same truth. River and stone are both teachers. Another micro-practice. Smile faintly as you exhale, saying silently, "Enough." Imagine the river slowing, the stone glowing, both at peace together. Repeat 3 times. The omniscient narrator sees you now, body heavy, breath slow, drifting deeper into rest. The current of thought may still pass, but you are no longer swept away. You are both river and stone, moving and still, light and grounded. A final image lingers, moonlight reflecting on rippling water, while beneath, smooth stones shine quietly. Together they form one scene, one truth. You carry both qualities tonight, the flowing current of life and the still stone of awareness. The way out is in Section 12, Huineng's robe. In a quiet monastery of ancient China, a robe passed from one master to another. It was not fine silk, nor embroidered with gold. It was simple cloth, patched and worn, yet it symbolized the transmission of awakening, the lineage of living truth. The robe reached Huineng, the 6th patriarch, not because of his wealth or scholarship. He was poor, uneducated, even mocked, but because his heart understood the essence of letting go. Huineng's story begins with his work as a humble woodcutter. One day he overheard a monk reciting a line from the Diamond Sutra, "Abide nowhere, and let the mind arise." Those words pierced him like lightning through a dark sky. He traveled to the monastery of the 5th patriarch, where many monks competed to show their understanding of Dharma. When asked to express insight, the scholar Shenqiu wrote, "The body is a Bodhi tree, the mind like a bright mirror stand. Polish it diligently, so dust will not land." Huineng, though illiterate, offered another verse, "Bodhi has no tree, the mirror has no stand. Originally there is nothing, where can dust alight?" The 5th patriarch recognized his clarity and secretly gave him the robe and bowl. To Huineng, the robe was never about ownership or pride. It was about freedom, the freedom of seeing that nothing can truly be clung to. Imagine tonight that you are handed a robe, plain and soft. You hold it lightly, knowing it will not last forever. Its true gift is not fabric, but reminder. Awakening is not a matter of possessions, but of perspective. Your micro-practice, inhale deeply, picturing yourself holding a simple robe. On the exhale, whisper inwardly, "Nothing to cling to." Repeat 3 times, feeling the shoulders relax and the heart lighten. The Buddhist teaching here is emptiness sunyata. Huineng's verse reminds us that all things, even the robe, are empty of fixed essence. When we cling, we suffer. When we see emptiness, we release. Ajahn Chah echoed this. Robes, bowls, huts, use them, but do not own them. They are already passing. A quirky Zen anecdote tells of a monk who boasted of wearing Huineng's robe. Another replied, "You wear the cloth, but do you wear the inside? The robe itself is not enlightenment. It only points to what is already present." A Zen master might ask you tonight, what robes do you wear, and what happens when you take them off? As you lie in bed, think of the robes you wear in daily life, roles, titles, identities, worker, parent, friend, seeker. Each is like cloth you put on, useful, but not permanent. Tonight you can fold them gently, set them aside, and rest in the naked awareness beneath. Ajahn Chah once said, "If you cling to being a monk, you suffer as a monk. If you cling to being a layperson, you suffer as a layperson. If you cling to nothing, you are free." The robe is not the self. It is only a reminder to release the self. Take another micro-practice. Exhale slowly, imagining yourself folding every label, every role, every robe, Place them on a shelf. Whisper inside, I am enough, without. Repeat 3 times, noticing the quiet that remains. Reflective questions ripple like lantern light. Which robes weigh you down? Which identities do you cling to as if they were permanent? What if you could rest tonight, not as a role, but as pure awareness, already whole? In Zen practice, robes are worn with humility, not as decoration. They symbolize vows, not vanity, but the true robe is invisible. It is the simple act of presence, of compassion, of letting go. You can wear that robe now, even as you lie under your blanket. Ajahn Chah laughed once when asked if his robe was sacred. He tugged at the cloth and said, "Sacred. It only keeps out the mosquitoes." His humor revealed the truth. The robe points not to itself, but beyond itself. Another micro-practice. Smile gently as you exhale, saying inwardly, originally nothing. Repeat 3 times, letting your body feel lighter, as if each layer of pretense has fallen away. The omniscient narrator sees you resting deeper, your breath slow, your body heavy, your mind quiet. The robe of identity has been set aside. What remains is vast, clear awareness, unburdened by clinging. A final image lingers. Huineng sitting in his hut, robe folded beside him, moonlight spilling across the floor. He is smiling, not because of what he possesses, but because he knows he needs nothing to be free. Tonight, you rest in the same freedom, wearing no robe but peace itself. Section 13-Indra's Net. High above the world, in the vastness of imagination, stretches a cosmic net. At every knot of the net, there is a jewel, polished and luminous. Each jewel reflects every other jewel, and within each reflection lies all reflections again, infinite upon infinite. This vision, called Indra's net in Buddhist teaching, is a metaphor for interconnection. Nothing exists alone. Everything shines through everything else. Ajahn Chah once told his students, "You are not separate. Each breath you take, the forest breathes with you. Each grain of rice you eat, countless hands have offered." He pointed to the truth of Indra's net, that our lives are woven together, reflections in one great web of being. To forget this is to feel lonely. To remember this is to belong everywhere. Tonight, imagine lying under the stars. Above you, the sky is not empty, but strung with an infinite net. Jewels gleam, reflecting one another. One jewel is your breath. Another is the tree outside. Another, the person you love. Another, someone far away you will never meet. Yet all are linked, shining together in the dark. Your micro-practice, inhale slowly, picturing yourself as a jewel. Exhale, imagining your light reflecting across the net. Whisper inwardly, connected. Repeat 3 times, noticing how loneliness softens as belonging grows. The Buddhist teaching here is interbeing. Thich Nhat Hanh, echoing ancient masters, explained that to be is to interbe. A piece of paper contains clouds, rain, sunlight, and lumberjack. You too contain countless conditions, and countless beings contain you. Ajahn Chah put it more simply, when you see a leaf, you see the whole forest. A quirky Zen tale tells of a monk polishing a jewel until it sparkled brilliantly. Another monk teased, "Do you polish yourself for your own shine?" The first replied, "When I shine, everyone shines." That is Indra's net. A Zen master might ask you tonight, when you breathe, who else breathes with you? As you lie here, perhaps you feel alone, but in truth, your breath mingles with the night air, with trees, with oceans. Your body is starlight, earth, rain, and grain. Your heartbeat echoes with the rhythms of countless lives. You are never only yourself. You are a reflection of all. Ajahn Chah reminded his disciples that suffering often comes from believing we are isolated. You say, "My pain," but pain belongs to the world. Share it, and it is lighter. His compassion was rooted in interconnection, knowing that no jewel shines alone. Take another micro-practice. Exhale slowly, and imagine sending light from your chest to someone you love. On the next exhale, send it to someone you struggle with. On the last, send it to all beings. Notice how the net brightens when every jewel is included. Reflective questions appear like constellations. When you feel lonely, do you forget the net? What would change if you saw each kindness you give as rippling endlessly through the web? What if every breath tonight was a jewel, reflecting peace into the whole world? In Zen monasteries, monks sometimes chanted names of countless beings, ancestors, teachers, animals, forests, honoring the net of life. Each name was a jewel, and chanting them together wove a fabric of belonging. Tonight, you can silently chant the names of those you hold dear, one by one, watching them shine in Indra's net. Ajahn Chah laughed once when a monk said he wanted to help the world. He replied, "You are the world. Care for your mind, and the world is cared for. In the net, self and world are not two. Each is reflected in the other." Another micro-practice. Smile faintly as you inhale, whispering inwardly, "I shine." On the exhale, whisper, "We shine." Repeat 3 times. Notice how your heart feels larger, as though its walls have dissolved. The omniscient narrator sees you resting deeper now, your breath slow, your body heavy, your awareness wide. Around you, the net glows, each jewel reflecting peace. You are both one and many, shining alone, yet never alone. A final image lingers, the night sky filled with jewels, each one reflecting your light, your breath, your being. You rest, not as a solitary star, but as part of the infinite net. The way out is in, and in is everywhere. Section 14-Tea Steam Rising. The night air cools, and in your hands rests a simple cup of tea. Its surface shimmers, steam rising in delicate spirals, fading into the darkness. You watch as the curls drift, shapeshift, and vanish. This ordinary scene carries extraordinary wisdom. Tea steam is like the breath, like thoughts, like life itself appearing for a moment, dissolving naturally. Zen practice often turns to such ordinary things, not as distractions, but as doorways into clarity. Ajahn Chah would often sip tea slowly, pausing to watch the steam. "See," he would say with a smile, "this is impermanence you can touch. The steam cannot stay, yet it is beautiful while it lasts." His disciples learned to drink mindfully, noticing warmth, fragrance, the way the cup felt in their palms. This small act became meditation, a way of practicing presence. Imagine yourself tonight lifting such a cup. The ceramic warms your fingers. The steam caresses your face like a gentle breath. Each sip is calm, the flavor both simple and complete. In this moment, there is no rush, no need, only tea, only presence. Your micro-practice? Inhale deeply, picturing tea, steam rising, Exhale slowly, whispering inwardly. Let it drift. Repeat 3 times. Notice how your thoughts, like the steam, appear and dissolve without resistance. The Buddhist teaching here is mindfulness of the ordinary. Often we chase profound experiences, forgetting that awareness is found in the smallest acts: drinking tea, folding clothes, watching clouds. Ajahn Chah said, "Do not overlook the simple. When you see deeply, even tea is dharma." A quirky Zen tale tells of a monk who poured tea for his master. Steam curled upward. The master asked, "Where does the steam go?" The monk replied, "It vanishes." The master smiled. "So does your anger if you let it." A Zen master might ask you tonight, when your thoughts rise, do you try to catch them, or do you let them drift like steam? As you lie in bed, perhaps your mind still brews with the day's events. Each thought is like steam, rising warm, visible, fading into the night air. You need not capture them. You can watch them drift until only stillness remains. Ajahn Chah reminded his students, "Don't cling to the cup. Do not cling to the steam. Enjoy, then let go." His teaching was not about denial, but about appreciation, knowing that beauty lies in the moment, not in holding on. Take another micro-practice. Exhale softly, imagining steam carrying away one worry with each breath. First, exhale a task undone drifts upward. Second, exhale, a harsh word fades. Third, exhale, a future worry vanishes. Notice how the chest feels lighter. Reflective questions rise like steam in moonlight. What ordinary acts have you rushed through today, missing their quiet wisdom? Could drinking water, washing hands, or simply breathing become your meditation? What if every fleeting moment was already complete? In Zen monasteries, tea ceremonies became sacred rituals, not for their formality but for their mindfulness. Each pour, each sip was a bow to impermanence. Tonight, your own tea is the breath, warm, rising, fading. Drink it slowly, without hurry. Ajahn Chah chuckled once when asked about enlightenment. He lifted his teacup and said, "This is it." He meant that awakening is not hidden in grand visions, but found in the warmth of the present moment. Another micro-practice. Smile faintly as you inhale, whispering inwardly, "This moment." On the exhale, whisper, "Enough." Repeat 3 times. Let the words steep in your body like tea leaves releasing flavor. The omniscient narrator sees you resting deeper now. Your breath curls softly like steam, your body heavy like the cup in your hands. Each exhale drifts upward, dissolving into the night. The room is simple, yet inside it lies vastness. A final image lingers, a cup of tea cooling beside you, steam fading into invisible air. You realize the beauty was never in keeping the steam, but in seeing it rise and pass. So too with this night, with this breath. Nothing to hold, everything to cherish. The way out is in Section 15, Returning to the Bowl. The night has deepened, and silence feels thicker now, as though the world itself is resting. In that silence, the image of a simple bowl returns, the same forest bowl Ajahn Chah once lifted before his disciples. At the beginning of our journey, it appeared as a lesson in impermanence. Now, at the end, it returns as a homecoming, a reminder that peace is found not in holding, but in letting go. Ajahn Chah would say, When you see the bowl as already broken, you can use it with joy. His words were never meant to sadden, but to liberate. The bowl, already broken in his eyes, was free to serve, to hold water, to carry rice. Its value was not in lasting forever, but in being present now. Imagine yourself tonight holding that same bowl. Its surface glimmers in moonlight, patched, perhaps chipped, yet still steady in your hands. You see your own reflection curve across it, shifting with the faint steam of tea or water inside. The bowl becomes more than clay. It becomes your heart, your life, your body. Already fragile, already passing, already whole. Your micro-practice: inhale deeply, imagining lifting the bowl. Exhale, whispering inwardly, already broken, already whole. Repeat 3 times, letting the words sink into your chest. Notice how your grip on worry softens, how peace fills the space once held by clinging. The Buddhist teaching here is impermanence, entwined with non-attachment. The bowl is not a possession, but a mirror. By seeing it as temporary, you free yourself to appreciate it. By letting it be fragile, you discover strength in acceptance. Ajahn Chah laughed often, saying, "If you let go a little, you have a little peace. If you let go a lot, you have a lot of peace." A quirky Zen tale tells of a master whose bowl cracked. His disciple rushed to replace it, ashamed. The master held the broken bowl and said, "It has taught me more by breaking than it ever did whole." A Zen master might ask you tonight, when things break, do you mourn only the loss, or do you bow to the teaching? As you rest in your bed, reflect on the bowls of your own life, possessions, relationships, even your body. Each is beautiful, each is fragile, each already broken in time. And yet each has held so much food, love, breath, laughter. Instead of clinging, you can bow in gratitude. Ajahn Chah's forest bowl reminds us that nothing need be perfect to bring peace. A chipped rim still carries water. A scarred heart still loves. Brokenness does not erase value. It deepens it. Take another micro-practice. Exhale slowly, picturing setting the bowl gently on the ground. With each exhale, let go of one thing you have been clutching: a regret, a demand, a fear. After 3 breaths, see the bowl resting quietly, and feel yourself resting too. Reflective questions settle like dew. What bowls in your life have cracked? Can you see their breaking as part of their beauty? Can you hold them lightly, with tenderness instead of fear? In Zen practice, bowls are central. They carry food, water, offerings. They remind practitioners to receive only what is needed, to live with humility. Tonight, your breath is the offering in your bowl, each inhale filling, each exhale emptying, again and again. Ajahn Chah once lifted his own bowl, tapped it lightly, and said, "Do you hear? This is the sound of freedom. It is not afraid to break." His disciples laughed, and their hearts felt lighter. Another micro-practice: smile gently as you inhale. On the exhale, say silently, "Enough for now." Repeat 3 times, letting your body sink deeper into the mattress, as if the bowl of your being is emptying into rest. The omniscient narrator sees you now, drifting closer to sleep. The bowl rests beside you in imagination, moonlight across its surface. It does not need to last. It does not need to be unbroken. Its gift has already been given. A final image lingers. Dawn in the forest monastery. Bowls lined on wooden steps, each one humble, each one waiting. Birds call, monks gather, rice is served. Some bowls shine, some are chipped, but all carry nourishment. You realize your own life is like one of these bowls, temporary, imperfect, enough. The way out is in, and the bowl has always pointed you there. The night has carried you gently through forests, rivers, bamboo groves, temple bells, and quiet huts. Each story has been like a lantern, guiding you deeper into stillness. And now, at the close, all lanterns dim. Only the softness of your own breath remains, steady and calm. As your body sinks heavier into the bed, imagine yourself resting beneath a vast sky. Stars glimmer like jewels in Indra's net, each one reflecting your quiet heart. The air around you is cool and wide, yet within there is only warmth and ease. You no longer need to reach for anything. The bowl is already set down, the tea steam is already drifted, the bell has already faded into silence. Take one long inhale as though gathering the whole night into your chest. Exhale slowly, letting every worry, every thought, slip away like leaves carried by a gentle stream. Again, inhale softly, exhale fully. One more breath. Inhale ease, exhale release. The stories you have heard tonight are not just teachings, but lullabies, woven to remind you that peace is never far. It is here, in your breath, in your body, in this very moment. You are safe, you are whole. Now let your awareness blur, like lantern light dissolving into fog. Let each breath grow quieter, each thought fainter, until even words drift away. Sleep approaches softly, like a monk's robe brushing past, like moonlight fading into dawn. The way out is in. Come home to yourself. Rest now, deeply and tenderly. Sweet dreams.